Good morning. This is the Daryl Kirky Show. Video at this stage is private, unlisted, until such time as it's made public. It's 5:41 a.m., 28th of January, Wednesday, 2026. This is part 4. So we have to survive. Survival of the fittest. Religion is not going to pay your bills. It's not going to help you. Even if you pay tithing and everything, you'd be lucky to get one bill paid. And it's a shameful thing to have to ask. Especially my former religion, the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints. Now, I'm not here to run down any religion. If people are happy to do that, but just remember, the woman who paid the least amount of tithing was the most blessed. Tithing is essential to get to heaven. That does not make sense to me. It never did. I'd rather give it to the poor. And talking about the poor, I've had a friend who's been helping me. And I set this dude up with a beautiful, high-standard sister in the church who's kind of left the church now because she doesn't want to be a hypocrite. When somebody with a kind heart, probably more romantic, more holistic, more nature-orientated than me, only because of the damage of my realism of what I had to face, war and terror in the Middle East. And I suffer with a lot of unrighteous anger that I have to daily repent. But I am a world-class entertainer, musician, filled with love, light, truth, and romance. But it doesn't always come out. So when a helping friend comes along who's genuine, who took me in nearly 50 years ago when my Mormon temple marriage broke up, and then the same thing happened to him, ended up, she divorced him or something. This guy's traveled all over the world as I was traveling, as an engineer, one of the most wonderful, kind-hearted human beings on the planet, gives to about 6 charity organizations. Is very emotionally connected, very gentle, but he's more Gnostic like me. He hates religion, and he took this sister friend of mine under his wing, and there's love there, there's romance there, but there are rules because of her high standards as a Christian Latter-day Saint. Well, let's remove the Latter-day Saint part because everything's a sin in that church. Just a Christian under grace. Now, the Gnostics, they never did sex except for intimacy and having children. They always avoided spilling the seed. Build it up, build it up. They were Puritans to the core. They refused to marry in the Catholic Church, and they were slaughtered and killed for fornication. They received revelation to shack up, not even married legally, because the laws of the land was the Catholic Church, and the Bible says to obey the laws of the land. My friggin' arse. Even Jesus broke his own law to heal on the Sabbath. There was a time that you've got to break away from a murderous, bloodthirsty Peter Pope cult. And they had the lost 14 books of the Bible, which the Catholic Church removed and burnt most of them. Book of Enoch, Book of Thomas, Book of Mary Magdalene. And to read and understand those books goes to show what the Catholic Church, wicked kings, priests, popes, scholars, so forth, mess with it. And we got the murderous, bloodthirsty version of it. Jesus Christ never even justified animal sacrifice. The priesthood was a shadow of things to come, and even that got abolished because he was the royal high priest, none after him, and temple system abolished. The Latter-day Saints Church put it all back, God forbid, and added extra laws. God never commanded his son to be sacrificed through a murderer's blood intent for our sins. Jesus volunteered. This was all taught to the Essenes because Jesus was an Essene, follower of the way, the people that followed Jesus before King James Bible, even before Paul's gospel, who went against the red letters to some degree, telling people they're going to burn in hell if they're Catholic or whatever, not born again. To be born again, the Essenes teach Jesus did not come for our righteousness. He came to awaken us, to enter into his righteousness, made whole and perfect, and the great I am working through you. He's the law, and we live the spirit of the law. And the law of love is to love God, love thy neighbor, love thyself, and thou shalt not kill. Not even an animal for sport, except for survival and pray over it. Now, you don't need to be a fully fledged, grace-activated evangelist Christian shoving the Bible down people's throats, leading them 10 times more to hell to be saved. No, Jesus never said that. He came to restore Judaism from its bloodbath, an animal sacrifice, and to bring it back to its purity. Though Jesus Christ never commanded 613 Jewish laws, he commanded the 10. And even then, it's the gospel of love, because if you break one law, you might as well break all of them. So it's not about the law like that, though it's not done away with, not one jot or tittle, except animal sacrifice. And Jesus came to fulfill the law, not to abolish it that way. He is the law. So the law of love applies regardless. If you're Catholic or Mormon or a Protestant, whatever, that'll still save you. So when churches come along and say, or denominations, that you're going to burn in hell because you're a Catholic or Mormon or Protestant, you're not a Baptist or something, while they go around killing animals for sport and everything and think nothing of it. They're all bullshit. All right? It's the gospel of love that's going to save you. They're the fruits of the Spirit in Christ. Amen. Simple as that. If you've got all the fruits, you won't be judged. If you've got some of the fruits, you'll receive a lesser reward. If you've got no fruits, you end up in hell. Simple as that. Now, the Gnostics did things that were completely contrary and opposite to the Catholic Church. They lived together. They were not married. They received revelation to shake up, and they were killed for fornications and so forth. Plus, they had the lost 14 books of the Bible. If any of those books got in, there'd be no Catholic Church or any system. It's all part of ushering in the Antichrist and the end of the world for Christ to return. So whatever you agree to as a man and woman, out of love, do not spill the seed unless it's out of love, preferably married, but like the Gnostics, they could not under circumstances. It could be warfare, war zone, it could be immigration waiting and you slip up, or something happens, waiting for inheritance so you can have children or whatever. The thing is, you're not going to break up because of a church, are you? That'll be stupid because it's your best friend. But for sleeping around and sex, drugs and rock and roll, that's wicked. That's a cursed sin, and that'll lead you to hell. When Jesus said don't lust, he meant out there, not within the realm of a marriage, but don't make it a lifestyle. Return to the light. So it's not forbidden, nothing forbidden in the bedroom. And don't confess it, it's your private life. A church that demands to know all about your private life is a church that's narcissist, manipulating, and controlling. All right? So if you need help, but you've got somebody you've known for decades that you can trust, and that person wants to come along and help your spirit mate, if you call it that, or somebody of a high level mission, there's got to be a rule. No intercourse. Well, anything else goes. But of course, what is hypocrisy? Well, in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, you can't do any of that stuff. You can't even Masturbate. It's everything is a sin in that church. So tea, coffee is a sin. Everything. It's a judgmental church to the core. They call themselves judges in Israel. You get away with nothing. And they don't give you nothing. God helps those who help themselves. Under grace, God helps those who cannot help themselves. So if someone comes along, you're living in poverty, you're dying, you need organ transplant, you're sick, you're married or so-called married. I'm talking not married, okay? Not legally married. And you can't marry for whatever reasons. And someone else comes along, that's called polyandry. A woman has more than one hubby in a sense, but it's not justified by any biblical measure whatsoever. It's a lost book teaching thing, or could even be related to ancient Egypt thing, or pagan thing. But it's not blood sacrifice, it's not killing little infant babies and so forth, by which God took them out. But he never commanded American black slavery and all the other murderous blood thing that got in the Bible. So why do we take it literally and believe that crap, all that racism and discrimination? What is wrong with God sending a complete whack job, if you can say, like Constantine was a whack job and he freed the Christians. Then he received a vision in the sky of a cross, a red cross on a shield, and put it on on his army shields and slaughtered thousands of Christians. God used a crazy person. Plus he changed the Sabbath from Saturday to Sunday, some worshipping Egyptian day. God allowed it. It's not our fault. You don't go to hell because you're not Seventh-day Adventist. So get over that. I knew a Seventh-day Adventist, one of the greatest pastors ever. They lived together for 7 years, both married, with kids and everything, different spouses. The church never judged him, and that's quite a strict church. Finally, they get married, they get the inheritance, and have even more kids if they want. And he becomes a great pastor. Had a lot of love and charity in his heart, but he just couldn't get married. Circumstances. The LDS Church would remove you for that. Even a matter of weeks, they'd be saying, when are you going to get married? You're a menace to society if you delay it. And they don't, they have broken my marriage. They have already destroyed me, caused a lot of revenge. After all the war zone I went through and all that bloodshed, it was the Mormon church that broke me. So I don't want to get too angry because I don't want to run any church down. I don't want any hate speech from, which I've got to be careful because YouTube can ban me and block me. But I'm just sharing with you my past and how painful it is. And so then you shoot off in a different direction, but you don't want to worship Satan. But of course, everything's Satan if you break a rule. See, Satan takes highly moral people and get them all religious. The other ones he doesn't care about anyway. They just hit the bottle and the drugs or the sex and the needles. So pick your level, that's your bullshit. Don't look up, white robe demons. Don't look down, black robe demons and idol worship and all of that crap. And just look at the cross, Jesus on that cross. So if God sends an angel, looks like a stinky old beggar, but happens to be rich, but his heart's in the right place, right? He's not a narcissist, a very positive, probably even more positive than you and me. And that person takes a fancy to somebody that you're not married to, but you want to stay as married as you can under Gnostic law because you can't marry for whatever reasons. So you think about it. Could be the mafia's daughter. You're not a marry my daughter, I kill you, but you can do anything else. You're gonna let the church break you up, or fornication. But you love. If you spill the seed, which you shouldn't, but if you do, it's the person that you love. If you don't love that person, you spill the seed, it is a cursed sin. So that's Gnostic law. So why not? If a man can have more than one wife, as polygamy went on, this is not legal now. This is not a legal binding thing. It's not practiced by law. Then a woman can have more than one husband. Just meaning, for under Gnostic law, under my belief system, woman can't have sex with that other man. But she can have halfway and everything. But the moment they cross the line, the trust is broken and the relationship can possibly end and it's never going to be the same. So you got to understand that The second hubby choice may mean that he's got somebody already on the side. He might have his girlfriend or something, but not living together. It could be nature, spiritual orientated, whatever it is, or it could be sexual. But thing is, I don't believe in that. I believe you should only have one sexual partner. And I'm not jealous of my friend who has his sexual partner and my Christian friend. So he has the full-on sex with her, and he has a halfway with my spirit friend, who is not married, by the way, and left the LDS church as well. So she's not a hypocrite. And all the help comes. The land, the house, the pool, everything. Now, my friend says he hates to pay money for sex. Well, he's not getting full-on sex. He really is an emotionally connected guy. In fact, he's half gay. So he's not fully into woman that way. He's not a lustful person. He just loves the emotional connection. And whatever. And all I can say is it takes a load off me, because I got somebody out of poverty. Her own mother had a heart attack, a stroke, because of the stress and the poverty. The whole family went down. Father a drunk and everything, but I liked the guy. A truck driver and everything, all over the Philippines. Pussycat to me. And all they want to do is survive. Now, not every Filipino are going to have such a blessing as I've given this one particular sister. I'm still in the loop. I'm still the spiritual hubby in that sense. I'm still the spiritual best friend. And I can do whatever I want if I want to, but I don't want to cross the line. So I'm also a halfway job, but I'm not doing anything. That's just the vow that's been agreed to, if it should happen. So I'm not lonely. I'm not going to hang myself. I'm not going to kill myself. And no matter what I do, unless you go to that Mormon temple and get sealed and pay your tithing, you don't make it. You lose each other hereafter. It's just absolutely crazy batshit. And they say it's all about family. They can break family. So that's the arrangement. And medical, everything. Now, that sister got bitten by a cat that could have had rabies. And I never had any money. I couldn't help. But my friend did. Immediately. Could have saved her life. Was that God sending that friend? Was that what was it? Was nothing to do with any religion or church, or even, he was a Gnostic like me. What am I going to do? Oh, Satan, thank you very much. You came to the rescue, but God didn't. No, because if religion is bullshit, the whole system, and this burning in hell, or Mormon heaven, whatever, low heaven, Hitler's heaven, better than this earth, kill yourself to get there, that's okay, just like the Muslims, but no polygamy there, according to the Mormons. Whatever heaven or whatever hell, the thing is, somebody came to rescue, medically, financially, in every possible way, but there's rules, and those rules must be respected. Can be broken, but if it was, then it ends the mission. Because spiritually, that is not affected by this arrangement. But intercourse, yes, that changes everything. Then in other words, you fuck up. It's a gamble, it's a risk, but like everything is a risk. Or you die need a medical transplant, organ, whatever. You pay your tithing. The wife dies. The church doesn't care less. You're supposed to get blessed. Millions do not. You don't hear of them. You only hear of the successful ones. So you got to make choices, and God knows what's in your heart. You want to save somebody's life? I've got a communist mate, not him, but his wife, but not a militant one, but a good one, not Christian even. And I said, do you know, in those countries, they have to sell themselves to survive and everything? And he said, don't you run my wife down. I don't care if she's the biggest slut under the sun in China. She's my wife, and she took me and married me, because my first wife, the white one, walked out and left him because he had a shitty old house, but he owned it. He wasn't in debt. And so this beautiful this Chinese communist woman, half his age, married him and cooks for him and loves him, and he's absolutely in love with her, but he swears like a trooper. He's a total atheist, and he supports her. So what is love? All right, he'll never go back to a Western woman. Western women like younger men, and Western men like younger women. It's a bit of a conflict here. But you should be married, but if you can't, you just got to make it work somehow. You got to write your own vows out, not Catholic vows or any religious vows. Thou shalt not have negative soul jealousy, meaning don't make each other negative soul jealous. Positive soul jealousy is a good thing. It's quite motivating, really. Admire my woman, but don't touch, sort of thing, unless I give permission, which would only be in a arrangement like polyandry. But how many do you need? Yin and yang, left and right, left side brain, right side brain. I've got a damaged part of the brain. I can't function logically a lot of things. So my mate, he's an engineer. He's absolutely smart. He's brilliant. He does all the bookwork. He does all the finance. He finances her to some degree. I do a little bit if I can, and I finance my daughter, but I've run out. And that's what stressed me out, because I gave her everything, land, house, everything, but some witchcraft went on back those days. I won all this money gambling. That's how they got the house. Didn't come that easy. I know it was witchcraft because one of my old pianos, which was worth a lot, was sold that day, and that very day the money went and got the house. That was part of, and plus the gambling money I won. Now, why would it happen that day? And yet the night before, a video popped up from some old witch spinning her head 360, looked like a zombie, somebody in the Philippines, could have been an AI, I don't know. And the next day the piano sold and got the money. It was, and then I got messages over time that there was witchcraft going on to bless me to get money. And when that luck run out, no more money. There's no friggin' way I can support, because it costs more there than here. I've got a daughter there. The government pays half here, but over there, fully you got to pay. Plus private school and everything, whatever it costs. School here free. Well, there is free schools, but my daughter being half Western white got bashed up and everything, and that's no excuse. I got bashed up all the time at my school, but being a woman, perhaps different. So, I'm supporting and everything. So all this shit happened, but I'm not able to kill two birds with one stone here. I've got a spirit mate, mission companion. I've served all over Asia, and I'm not going to lose her because she's just been there, saved my life. I'm still alive because of her. She saved my life literally from COVID the day I met. Never slept with her, nothing. Such an honor to have somebody like that. And lost book study. You do study the Bible, all the lost books, and prayer and everything, even the roaring of the spirit of fire and tongues, Melchizedek of age and practice, time that's been promoted and preached by a black man. And the Mormon church says no black man can have that sort of power and authority. It's got to come through the seed of Joseph. I don't give a rat's ass. The Mormon Melchizedek priesthood is dead. Nothing but dead men's bones, whitewashed sepulchres. Though it could be activated one day, then it'll be proof in the pudding. But it does have binding authority to seal and all that. That's about what it's good for. The rest is all, to me, nonsense and activities and programs that brainwash you, control you, manipulate you. But then if you don't pay your tithing, you'll miss that anyway. Even if you leave the church and get married and sealed. But I know a bishop, he said, no way that's going to happen to my sister. Malicious gossip broke her up. She stopped paying tithing, never gone back to the church. And he said, there's no way she's going to miss out. She's an absolute pure in heart, faithful, sexual, everything to the husband. Why should she miss out for not paying tithing? Because malicious gossip broke her up. And he doesn't go by the manual. See, there are some good Latter-day Saint Mormon bishops. Other one kicked me out about to bear a testimony of grace. Years I was able to do it, and then this neo-Nazi one come along and says, I go by the rules. We've got to live by the rules, the letter of the law, or stuff the rules. Jesus Christ was the most anti-religious person that ever walked the face of this earth. Spent more time with a common sinner than the stuck-up, prideful, self-righteous Pharisee that killed Jesus, which was the worst sin. Hospital for sinners, not a museum for saints. Leave the 99 and go after the one lost sheep. All right? So, if you need an organ transplant or you need some medical help and something, and some beggar off the street turns out to be very super rich, but has a fancy for your woman, but look, I'm talking about people who are not married, but living together sort of thing, but love each other. They can't get married. They can't have kids. They haven't got enough money. My father always said, don't you marry unless you can afford to have those kids or whatever. He said it's just bullshit, it's hypocrisy, stuff religion, make it all legal and binding, and then the kids grow up in poverty or starvation, and then you pay tithing on top of that, and they hate God and hate their parents because they miss out on a meal for 2 weeks, and the parents are struggling to get more money. I mean, don't say it's easy. Some people got it easy, got it too easy. They don't know what shit is as shit hits the fan. There are people that are starving in this country, and the church builds all those temples so you can become a god. I mean, even the Catholic Church does more than the Mormon Church. And I'm going back to the old ways of, I'm kind of fault finding here, but anyway. So a good Samaritan comes along and stops and helps you. And Jesus said it's a better example. He wasn't against the priesthood, he was against the hypocrisy of it. Plus he is the priesthood, none after him. No high priest, no polygamist, nothing, right? That's hereafter, forget about that. But in this life, yin and yang, I think, why not? If a woman needs all that medical attention and that she's going to die, you're going to let her die? Because the Bible says, does the Bible say moralistic, legalistic, not the New Testament, the Old Testament maybe, you'll let her die? Or you're going to let a helping friend come along and fall in love with her and, take on a bit of romance? Who cares? Because the fruits of the Spirit, or the fruits of the soul even, which is a more common level, got to remember that people that do help somebody that they're really attracted to, you got to test them out. Do they help people that are poor, that are ugly, or obese, or sick, or starving kids? Yes, my mate does. He helps the poor, and he helped me when my Temple Mormon marriage broke up. Took me in, saved me from suicide. Just happened to be there the day I broke down at the church. I had lost my wife. Baby died, so forth. Why can't he have a reward? Of course he's missed out. He's been terrorized too. He's had women walk out on him and everything, cheat on him, everything, whatever. Lost his house, lost everything. Then, of course, being a world engineer, worked all over the world and Switzerland, all those places. I reward him. I gave him my spirit mate because he's free. I'm not. I still have a wife of almost 20 years separated. God hates divorce. I could if I want to, but she's done no wrong, but she's a bit of a narcissist, and she, no communication hardly, very angry, hates the Mormon church for what they did, broke us, kicked me out. I didn't get a temple marriage. It's not her fault. She needs a stomach transplant. She could die, hemorrhage. There's no help coming from any of the churches, but she doesn't like immorality. She'll rather die than commit those sort of sins. She won't look into the Gnostic or any lost books and things because she reckons all gibberish. We are not compatible, but I still love her. It's been sexless for decades, and I hardly speak to her except Christmas and maybe Easter or so forth. So all I can say, you got to get on with it. Otherwise you end up hanging yourself. You cannot listen to people. Do not listen to their morality and all their crap. They will have you executed if they could, if the law was passed. You have to do that which is to survive. And I think if I've got a right side brain damage and I can't think logically enough to do my maths and get ahead, or I can't work, or someone else can. So, sure, she can have two hubbies, she can have two lovers, but not full on. It's got to be a limit. If that limit is broken, then goodbye mission, right? As far as I'm concerned. Because the Gnostics really only had one wife, I think. I think they pretty much, but they did do sex out of marriage, but it was only purity, to abstain as long as you can, as a kind of a ritual thing, and build it up. Spilling the seed just like that is wicked. In fact, I get really, really sick. I don't know, something in my consciousness says it's not right. It's not right, unless you're married, of course, or you're with somebody that you really, really love. That's different. I'm talking about, I don't believe in porn. I think that's wicked. It's disgusting. It's fake. A Baptist come in and said, better to do porn than sit in a coffee shop all day talking to a woman. That's adultery. What a lot of crap that was. That idiot tried to get me banned from Facebook. He's just one of the biggest gossipers I've ever known. Where two or more gather, told him a couple of things that happened, but turned it into something serious, made up some bullshit. You cannot trust anyone that's under a religious system where they have to pay tithing, or they have to do this and have to do that. It's bullshit. And he could be watching right now. His Buddhist wife that he chose after giving up a Christian woman, a lot younger than him, the Buddhist, wanted him to go to a Buddhist temple. No problem for me. Christ-centered, Buddhist, whatever. But no, he demanded her to go to the Baptist church and said to her that the Buddhists are all going to burn in hell. What a thing to say to your wife. What did you friggin' marry her for, you dumbass? Okay, so she got a bit violent. She was a pretty nasty Buddhist, but still, who would put up with a guy like that? Some Baptist bloody prideful prick. Anyway, I'm getting off the track here. Kids won't even want to talk to her because he left the mother. So the man is miserable, trying to crack onto my ex. But she can see through the bullshit too. If that man had contacted me after I was trying another Baptist church, I might have set him up with my ex. But he didn't prove himself. He's a loser. Okay, well, thank you very much. So, but the guy that I've helped with my spirit mate is not a loser. He's a really nice guy. He's in the soul. He's not in the spirit. He doesn't understand that. But he does no wrong. He speaks no guile. In that sense, he's sure people can fall in love. Because there's compatibility in the soul. There's more than one soulmate, but there's only one spirit mate. I cannot marry. I cannot do anything. And I don't even do sex, though I could under Gnostic law if I want to. I just don't want to cross the line. There's a halfway thing. That's permissible, but I'm not even doing that. And if my mate does it, well, he's not married. They might want to get married. Then I don't know how that works. If that happened, that would, to me, seems betrayal, because that means she's giving up Jesus, because he's not into Jesus. He's into nature. He worships the creation, not the creator. Now, I share this knowledge with some friends or subscribers. One of them don't even contact me anymore. Thinks that's predator stuff. Well, I know this person. She knows who she is, from England. Lovely lady. Gave me all this counselling. To me, totally sexless. And any type of feelings of passion, she runs. If I'm not wrong, I'm not going to mention her name. We were friends for a while. And then she saw the side of me that's very passionate, on fire. And I think it's the most wonderful thing to have a passionate relationship. And I don't beat myself up with fear, shame, and guilt. Sleep on a bed of nails and pay penance. We don't suppress it, we express it. Sexual energy transferred into spiritual energy. That's what the persecuted saints of the past did. Not the Catholic saints, the real persecuted chosen ones. They channeled it. Roaring in the spirit of fire and tongues, the Melchizedek of age and practice time. Very sexual energy. Almost beastie, you can say. And channel it. You're a roaring lion against the roaring lion of Satan. Even in heaven, there's a lion guarding the heaven. There is a way of using that energy, not suppress it. So we don't want to be wishy-washy, handy-pandy, or even, okay, well, I don't know about Peter Pans and that, but the ones that are not Christian, but they live a very peaceful life, good on them. They bring a lot of harmony, and they're holistic, and they care about the environment and the trees. Let them be, all right? I don't know which heaven they end up. I can't see why they would go to hell. They don't murder, they don't harm anyone. They're shamanist. I used to be one. I know what it's like. It's very peaceful. In fact, religion messed my head up. I've never had so many murderous, bloodthirsty thoughts since I'm part of religion. He's never had those thoughts. So he's okay. I've sent him up. But he allows me to converse with my spirit mate, scripture study, prayer, everything. Now, no one's crossed the line yet. It's just all speculation. Not even together. It's just overseas thing, online thing. But there are tears. There's expressions. There's novel fiction writing and romance and very high-level educated, we're all I'm a teacher, she's a teacher of English literature, and he's an engineer, but he can write novels. It's a wonderful arrangement. But the moment the line is crossed and the seed is spilt, unless they're married, of course, it's a violation, and that's the risk you gotta take. Everything's a risk in life. It's a risk to marry with blind friggin' faith, not even hold a hand on a date like the Potter's house, and find out you're not even compatible. It's ridiculous to marry with blind faith. You should be able to run around the naked forest, have a shower and everything, massage, whatever, no sex. Men, control yourself. And a woman will respect that. They like a bad boy in bed, actually, but you got to sort of pretend that you're a good guy. You are a good guy, but nice guy. But really, you're a really bad boy in bed, and that's more fun, I can tell you. It's just ridiculous to be an Andy-Pandy and get married in a missionary position or whatever position. All right? So I'm not going to get into all the creature feature and all that, death to the creature, whatever, okay? Just, it's a process for most people. Otherwise, it will bicker and make trouble against your spirit. Just use it or lose it. It's a protector, it's a Viking, and it's a warrior. The whole ego thing, the spiritual ego in religion is worse. It kills in the name of God, prophets, popes, priests, bishops, so forth. The ego in a marriage, as far as hard-working, stress release, angry sex without hate, because demons will get in. Enjoy a bit of stress release, but don't make it a lifestyle, return to the light. Make sure you understand all this before you get married. A woman is going to leave you because you go from missionary position to some doggy position, start having some type of piggy sex thing. Like one bishop I knew in the Mormon church, the kids saw him, went to always having piggy sex, and he even used the F word. It was a real stress release one, He lost his position for life. He trained his kids to be moralistic little shits. There's nothing forbidden in the bedroom. Of course, he was supposed to be a holy man, but he was doing piggy sex. Look, I don't give a rat's ass what you do behind closed doors, because I totally am not against it, as long as it's agreed. Otherwise, it's abuse. I don't care what hole it goes up or whatever. But there's one stipulation. Don't mess with the blood. The period. That's one. Even the Muslims will stipulate this. Do not get horny. Well, you can get horny, but do not mess with the blood. You've got to have some respect for the holiness of the temple body. All right? Some people don't care if the woman's bleeding or even bloody hemorrhaging, they still do it. These are wicked bastards. They rape their own friggin' wives. So anyway, there are rules. There's rules in everything. The gospel of love is rules. Love God, love thy neighbour. Fully. If you truly love your neighbour, you don't throw them out of a church unless they're throwing a weapon in their hand. You put the Bible down, stop the sermon, and get all the elders to pray over that man. But no, the pastors just kick him out. It's absolute nonsense what goes on in these churches. Clergy churches. From priesthood churches to clergy Baptist churches. And Church of Christ and so forth. All a pile of nonsense and rubbish. Piss off. I cannot stand you people. All right? So, Jesus Christ was the most anti-religious person to ever walk the face of this earth. And so am I. So I've set my spirit mate up with somebody who's anti-religious, but very spiritual in the way of nature, almost communicate with a life force in the trees and the creation, but I go a step further, I worship the Creator. But when it comes to logic and sorting things out and making things work, he's better than me. Or better off in that sense. Because in this country, if you've got some brain damage or something, no one wants you. But in the Muslim world, I saw this Muslim guy, deaf and dumb, looked like an idiot. Yet he received all his father's inheritance, plus arranged marriages. Beautiful, spiritual, sexy Muslim girl, princess, all arranged. Here, that poor Muslim guy, well, I don't know about the Muslim faith, they'll probably try to do it here too, but any Australian guy that looked like him would get bugger all. Goodbye. Next thing, the nursing home's taken all the retards to have a sex tour over in Thailand or something, and they all come back all happy. They'll get laid. See, that's immoral, but they've got no choice. I went preaching to playing the piano in the nursing home once, but I was a Mormon priest, and I saw these two Down syndrome kids having sex, and I went to break it up, thinking, oh, that's wrong, and the nurses said, leave them be. They're mentally retarded and they can have sex, even in the hospital. Just two retards having sex. Good on them. No, I understand. I went up to French priest on the train in France, smoking big fat cigars, and I attacked him because I was a Mormon. Said, you can't smoke like that. That's immoral. And they said, we don't do sex. We do nothing. We're celibate priests. All we have to do is a big fat cigar. And so did Charles Spurgeon and Wesley, so two of the great preachers from the Reformation leading up 19th century. Churchill smoked a big fat cigar. I mean, nothing wrong with it. But to the Mormon church, that'll stop you from going to the highest heaven. You cannot get there. It's just nonsense. So you do what works for you, and you make choices and up everybody else, okay? Up everybody else. They are not even going to be there for your funeral. A few relatives will turn up at your funeral, but you never hardly see them in this life. That's about all they're good for. They speak some good words for you. Like, Dad was a great musician. That's going to come out. I know that. Everybody loves my music. I get a lot of encouragement through my music. I'm very gifted. I could have been famous. I got famous people contact me all the time. The reason why didn't get fully famous because I didn't sleep around once during my whole entire career. So I wasn't empowered by demons. And when I laid with a woman, it became like a Maya Carey, a famous woman. I wouldn't sleep with her either, but I laid with her, and she just couldn't believe it, that I rejected her beautiful body and everything. Though I saw it naked and everything. And in the drawer, when she shot off to make coffee, there was a book said, How to Use Men to Get to the Top. And she certainly did use men to get to the top. So I don't play that game. But when it comes to survival, medical, food, life-threatening things that you need to take care of, you're going to die unless you get some help. And it's not going to come from the church, I can tell you. They'll leave you for friggin' dead. So my mate came to the rescue. He's helped me. What do you think this piano is? You know, something he knew from how I gave up my grand piano to serve a Mormon mission, promising to get another one. Well, I did. Who's the angel? Who was sent? Somebody that left the church for good. Somebody who's anti-religious. Somebody that's more pure and kinder and charitable than any Latter-day Saint or Christian I know, comes to the rescue. Yeah, don't you think that's God sending a beggar off the street who disguised himself, but he's really a rich guy? So sure he deserves my spirit mate, but that's their soulmate. They're compatible soulmates. I'm a spirit mate. My soul is damaged. All the memory, the war, the terror, the hate, everything's there. He doesn't have any of that. He had an easier life, but still. But he had women walk out and leave him. He lost houses and everything. You know, he's been through the wars, but bit of divorces and everything. But I've been through worse because of gun to my head and enemies and people hunting me for years over bullshit. The gossip upset them all. And it all started with the Mormon church, racist discrimination. And somehow it just, took one person, one rotten seed to spread it. It picked up on radars and other groups and terrorist groups and so forth. Evil came out of the Mormon church. Not saying the Mormon churches, they're all like that. It started from the moment I was in it. I never had a chance because God was trying to tell me all along, this is bullshit, get out of here. And then he said the same thing. The evil one turned around and says, I wouldn't want to be in the church with people like you in it. I said, what do you mean? What have I done wrong? Oh, you because he recorded me, see, secret spyware. He's top of the game. Oh, But other words, you're having all this sex and everything. You're having all this lust and everything. Why he was missing out because he didn't get it from his wife or something, and he got to hear it. See, he judged me. What you do behind closed doors is your business, and then send it to the bishop to be judged even further. None of their friggin' business what goes on in your sex life. But anyway, holy or not, the return of the light. I went to church once, all friggin' holy. They thought. Your sun's shining out of your ass, Daryl. What's going on? You must be abstaining from sex and fasting, everything. That very day, passionate sex to doggy sex, whatever sex, because took away the migraine headache, the medical thing and the pounding in the head of my wife, and we weren't going to church. When we took care of that and did stress release, we went to church and it was glorious. See, God can use a happy marriage. God can even use a happy partnership that's not married with intent to marry, right? And the seed is only spilled out of love. Of course, there's a bit of lust, but love first. Lust without love, is that right? Lust without love is a cursed sin. Lust without love is a cursed sin. So it's very clear that love comes first. There is lust, of course there is. It would be boring if it wasn't, but not outside, not out there night clubbing and all screwing around. That's just straight up wicked. Get a life. If you can't get a life here, go somewhere else if you can, because there are a lot of women out there, or men, in other countries and other natures and other cultures that will give you a chance. But here in my country, you got some damage, you're messed up, you're poor, this, that, get stuff. In fact, women don't even want your money here. They want party animal. They want some drug addict, or they want somebody who looks fit but still takes drugs until you end up crippled or sick or disabled or something. It's all bullshit. The Western world is like Sodom and Gomorrah. It's like days of Noah. We're living in the days of Noah. So brothers and sisters, choose your friends wisely. Do not trust almost anyone except Jesus. If you've got a best friend, a male, female, and they come into your family circle, and there's a bit of that type of loneliness thing or whatever, I don't care. Flirt with my wife. If she wants, accepts it, I accept it. I would say if I'm in that situation, just don't stick it in. Go on dates, do whatever you want, go swim, do whatever. Be the mermaid. I don't care. You take care of the medical, but you take care of all that, because no one else is. The church isn't. See, I don't mind. That's the different. I come under a different type of belief system. I don't care about your stinking morals. Satan doesn't care either. He'll just use your morals and get you religious. I don't really care about it. What I do care, because my friend, he can't get anyone pregnant. He's been, he's been tied. So it's not like spilling the seed, get pregnant. All I'm saying is, you got to come to some arrangement, because you're going to die otherwise. You need medical. You need help, man. You're going to die. It's okay. I'll just die. Just die. God will take into account. Yeah, you die miserable. You die hating God. I've seen people hating God because they never got any help, not from the church or anyone. I've seen people commit suicide. I saw a guy get up and the lights flicker off and on like a freaking ghost. He's dead a couple of days later. He got up and says, I'm a cocaine addict, but I love my wife. I joined the Mormon church. She wants me to go to the temple, had all these kids. I can't stop it. I need help. Not one person said, I'll pay for your bloody counselling. I will send you to the best psychologist. Nothing. He was dead. He committed suicide. They just said, well, get your act together. Get your shit together. No one even stopped to help him. One guy had a heart attack and I went up to him and blessed him afterward. No one even noticed I had done. He got up and bare a testimony. He was a nice testimony. He just had a heart attack. He's all crippled down the side. Not one of them with that power of Melchizedek priesthood went up and blessed him. Just walked past him like a wounded man. Bullshit. The Melchizedek priesthood can divide the seas. It's the true priesthood. So I won't get caught up in it. I'll tend now and then just for fun. I don't believe the Pharisee religion of Mormonism because of their example. I don't care how holy, white, light, whatever it is, right down to the Catholic dark light, murderous, bloodthirsty church, whatever. I don't care anymore. I think it's all bullshit. Don't look up, don't look down, look to the cross, Jesus on that cross. That's all I can say. And if you want to get some help by somebody who takes a fancy to your wife, sit down and make an arrangement not to cross the line, whatever you agree to, because nothing's for nothing in this world. I mean, it starts off as friendship. Yeah, you get a bit of help here and there, and then it just sort of gets a closeness, and you just know that person's there to help you. But that person's lonely. I'll give you one example, and then I'm going to go. This is it. The movie called The Song of Love. Schumann and Brahms. Schumann died. He was in a mental hospital. He lost his mind, everything, some type of noise in his head, buzz, and he couldn't compose everything. So he dies in the mental hospital. His wife, about to marry Brahms, because Brahms is his best friend. Though I think Brahms might be a little gay. But anyway, so Brahms about to propose at this beautiful restaurant and got the ring out and everything. And the fiddlers come right up to the table and says, in memory of your husband who died, they played Schumann. And the wife, the widow, cried. And she looked up and she looked at Brahms and says, I can't marry another man. I really love my husband. Isn't that beautiful? It stopped him. Those three fiddlers playing violin stopped him. So my brother and sister, my friend is a Brahms. I'm a Schumann. I'm a crazy whack job. And I'm letting Brahms be with my so-called spirit mate wife anyway. Gnostic wife, you can say. But no intercourse. He can flirt, he can do anything, he can pay the bills, whatever he wants. And if anything happens to me, she'll be looked after. And he's older than me. But what I suffer is just too much. Nobody could handle it. Well, my ex is too sick to even handle it, and she's even worse than me because of the war and blood and terror and terrorism. And then you get somebody some dickhead come on my channel at the last minute, the very last video I was going to make for some time, a dangerous enemy here in Australia who's overlooked the fact that I've been through war and bloodshed and terror, my own father indirectly murdered, poison that led to a heart attack. And he's just out to get me because he's a black bugger who got a recording from some neo-Nazi guy in the church when I was confessing his sins and crimes, and I never had any. I made it up. I said, oh yeah, I killed a black man. Bullshit, I was intimidated. See, this guy was like a big brother controlling me. I didn't want anything to do with him, but he kept on turning up, rocking up, mow my lawns, do this. I kicked him out once, and Mum was there, and he pulled a knife on me. This guy was out to get me because he recruiting for neo-Nazi, the Mormon church. Yeah, innocent, I was. And so he recorded that I killed a black man. He killed somebody, went to jail, everything. Got away with murder, really. And in the church high up in the ranks, or now left, I think. And that went around, and I had a black guy chasing me for 43 years. Is that right? 43 years hunting me because he plus a few other things he's heard about me. Why? Something that's pure gossip. Right? And this guy's a predator himself. I mean, I can't understand the mentality of people. Why would somebody waste all their time hunting me for 40-something years over a rumour and a gossip that was not true anyway? Put me on a lie detector, you won't get it, because I never kill anyone. So, some people just waste all their energy. They don't have a life. Probably doesn't have wife, family, kids, everything, and got out of prison. And somebody that's probably a murderer or something. And that was very disturbing because it's an Australian digger. Not a digger, he's somebody who never served in the war or anything, or at least been shot at, or live in a war zone. I wasn't in the war, but I lived in a war zone for 2 years, trapped. I couldn't even leave the country. Long story. And my own Aussie comrade stabbed me in the back. It's like a poor veteran come back from war, got no arms and legs. He's been a war hero and everything, and some bloody punk off the street stabs him for money, for his wallet. All that dignity taken from him in an instant by some street bloody kid or teenager or whatever. It's disgusting. No arms, no legs, crippled. No respect for serving in the war. Just somebody off the street steals his wallet and stabs him. Disgusting society we live in. Have some respect for the elders. The elders. All right, brothers and sisters, so do what you have to do to make it work and get that organ transplant and whatever you have to do, but do it out of love, arrangement, not behind each other's back. Nothing's for free in this world, really. Not really. Right? If somebody was going to give you $1 million, it's got to be love. It can't be just for sex. It's got to be love. It's got to be friendship. Just somebody get closer and closer and they start to give. But fall in love, cry if you hurt them, or tell them to piss off. There's definitely a possibility that can work. A two-hubby thing or two-wife thing, it can work. But it's got to be critically right. No friggin' prophets, no bloody cult leaders and all this sort of thing like or fallen Mormon, bloody polygamists and all this crap. Nothing like that. Everything legal and binding, but not actually civilly married. So it can work, and I testify it can. It's working, but the anxiety of it is there's a rule. If you cross, if that rule's crossed, I would say there'd be no mission with that person anyway. It's all over. You can't be spilling the seed inside a person and not be married and expect to serve a mission. Whatever halfway, whatever way. Church cannot kick you out fully unless you stick it in. So the rule is, men, don't stick it in unless you really love that person with intent to marry and be faithful sexually. All right? And if you can't marry and there's no hope of getting married and she's going to get pissed off and leave you, then give her another husband so she stick with you. And she'll love you the most. Hopefully. And even though the other guy's more richer. Make it work or lose each other. Or hang yourself. Whatever the case may be. It is better to stick with somebody that's good for you, whatever, morally or not, religious or preferably not religious, than just end up lonely, depressed, suicidal, and hanging by an end of a rope. All right? Been there, done that. Choice has got to be made. Battle of the survival of the fittest. Those little turtles that get running as babies back into the ocean, the birds that come down eating them, the vultures, the lucky ones survive, the other ones don't. Then they go on and live for 100 years, become a big giant turtle. What role does God play in this? Really? It's survival, my brothers and sisters. But the same token, there's a spirit within us, and that spirit needs to be activated because that attracts a lot of supernatural things in one's life. I don't care. I'm friends with Richard Dawkins, but he doesn't believe in all that. But I do agree with evolution. I do believe in the beginning of it, not us, 6,000 years ago, Adam, but the one before that. 2 gods, 2 Adams, 2 seeds. I do believe evolution did come from apes and everything, and fallen angels and creature feature, everything. Millions of years. But not us. And we're all getting confused. The first Adam, apes. If we've got a spirit and a soul and all that, we've got a spirit anyway, we're not going to drink baby's blood. So anyone that's sitting there sipping away on baby's blood as a Illuminati ritual probably come from the other seed, the fallen angel, the Nephilim, the Anunnaki. They come from that. They're still here today. When God wiped out Noah's flood time, he said, I repent I ever made man. They weren't even fully human. They were a friggin' half alien hybrid thing. Noah and his 8, and there's other people on Earth. The Australian Aboriginals 40,000 years old minimum. They found the skull. They're not part of that our Adam either. I don't believe. I could be wrong, but 40,000 years ago. If our Adam's only 6,000 years, see, there's an Adam before that. So evolutionists are half right. So Richard Dawkins is half right. Anyway, enough said. Make your choices. What works for you. It's not a matter of right and wrong. It's a matter of what you agree to and what works. And no abuse. If she likes it rough, give it to her rough. She likes it smooth, give it to her smooth. Whatever you got to please the woman. In the Muslim faith, if you don't please the woman sexually, polygamous ones, they can divorce you. And one Muslim says, oh, we don't lust. You're right. You better get in the mood if you don't want to do it. So this is a bit of a personal counselling thing, and this is what I've shared with you on this part 4. And I've got to live with that. But I know without it, I'm a dead man walking. You can't kill a person who's already dead. You can't humiliate me more than I've been humiliated. There is no life without a mission, mate. But if she crossed the line and everything and lost that power and position in the authority by the power of the blood of Jesus or whatever, it would be devastating. That's a risk I've got to take. Because if you don't take nothing, no pain, no gain. You've got a risk in life. Everything's a risk. A bit of a faith thing and everything, all mixed. Sit back and do nothing, perish, lack of exercise, you die. So pull your finger out and do something. But choose the higher level, higher quality, holistic, organic, all that sort of thing. Natural, but not the natural man enemy. That's narcissist. That's the bottom stop level. Natural in way of showing love, and regardless of religious rules, legalism, or whatever. Make it work, and in one day down the track, everything's just so well. Somehow you cleared up anything that may be considered immoral, and go and get married and do a religious thing if you wish. Right? I don't believe people are going to burn in hell because they're a Catholic or Mormon, whatever, like the Baptists would say. No, if you love God, love thy neighbor fully, thou shalt not kill, etc., you'll be saved. Which level, I don't know. So don't listen to anyone that shoves the Bible down your throat and send you 10 times more to hell the Bible warns against. It's not how much you know anyway, it's how much you care. All right, thank you for listening, brothers and sisters. This is Daryl Kirky signing out. Until we meet again, good morning and God bless.